Oh,
Yes, my dog is calling out in the other room.
Oh, that's your
what
dog?
kind of
Nice.
what kind of dog?
Oh, just a mutt,
Yeah.
but
All right,
a
I'm going
good
to start.
mutt. She's seen a squirrel or something outside, and that's the most exciting thing in the world. So
That's awesome.
All right, I'm going to start letting the participants in here.
very good.
Beautiful.
Okay, so welcome everyone.
Hey guys.
Good to see you all.
Saturday morning. One more time.
One more time. Yeah, that's
One more time.
a good way to put it. And yeah, welcome everyone. Get yourself settled. We'll get started in a minute once folks have been, all the stragglers have been entered the room here. Maybe give it like 60 seconds. So it's good to see everybody, and hope to see as many of you as we can at the convention that's starting next week on Thursday. All day Thursday, Friday, Saturday, with a few breaks in the middle of the day. Got a couple of really cool sponsors. We've got the piano book, and we've got Schiedermeyer Celeste as well, and we've got a bunch of really
The Celeste that literally
Celeste, the
every
only
orchestra uses.
Celeste. Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, they're going to give a little talk during Paul McNulty's, at the beginning of Paul McNulty's lecture too. So that'll be interesting to hear.
Awesome.
So yeah, so I'll let a few more people in, and then we'll give a little bit of an intro to the session today. So give me 1 second. And master. Okay, so just to remind you where you're at today, you're at the Piano Tech Radio Hour. If you're joining us for the first time on Facebook or YouTube, we are a session that brings in piano industry experts and interesting folks to share stuff with you on a weekly basis every Saturday. This program is brought to you by Piano Technicians Masterclasses, an online educational resource that offers you cutting-edge instruction from piano industry masters without leaving your home. You can find out more at www.pianotechniciansmasterclass.com. And today's guest is a very intriguing fellow by the name of Thomas Strange. And he's actually been referred to us by one of our esteemed previous guests and also lecturers, Sally Phillips. And he has presented, Thomas Strange has presented numerous lectures, concerts on early piano development, is a builder and restorer of earlier keyboard instruments. He's author of an article on the life of early square piano forte builder John Geib, was published in 18th Century Music, March 2010. Some interesting things about him is that he has an extensive background in material science, author of 43 patents. Wow, that's pretty exciting. I can't even imagine having one patent. Oh, let me let a few more people in here. If you folks who are co-hosts, go ahead and just let people in as they join. Yeah, and it appears that he's specialized in things like capacitors and aluminum electrolytics. So we don't have any, we actually, a lot of us are multi-talented here as piano technicians, so there may be people who have questions about that feature of your work, but we probably won't go too deep. And you've also been inducted into the St. Jude Medical Patent Hall of Fame in 2005, and you chair of the Services Board of Directors for several institutes. So we've got with us a fascinating, multi-talented individual who we hope to get to know a little bit better. But really, I think what you want to talk about is your musical instrument museum. So tell us a little bit about that musical instrument museum and where it's located, and just the basics. We'll dive into deeper questions after you give a short intro.
Well, certainly. So, I'll just set the story up. Back in 2008, I had been asked to go to the Greenville County Museum of Art to just talk about my interest in early keyboards. And it was one of those events where I thought, perhaps 15 or 20 people would be interested in such a thing if we're lucky, So I planned for a small group, and I brought the keyboards over, and lo and behold, over 200 people showed up for this thing.
Wow.
They were dripping off the balconies, and I was just astounded by how much interest there was. So I continued to collect. I had made contacts with a number of the schools through that event, and so they began to send students over, and the interest was clearly growing. So the question that was posed to me was, Tom, what happens to this wonderful collection that you've already assembled after you're gone? And I thought it was a really great question. And the answer that I came up with was, why don't we make this something of a gift to the city of Greenville, and we'll bring it in and we'll set up a museum in Greenville, and allow people from the public to come, and maybe people from other parts of the country would enjoy coming too. So we cast about for a place, and as it turned out, in early 2017, a nearly ideal spot opened up. One of the museums that was on Heritage Green, which is in Greenville, where all the museums are, the Art Museum, the Country History Museum, the library, the Children's Museum, we're all kind of in this one space together. And this particular building was going to open up. Bob Jones University's Museum and Gallery was going to go somewhere else. And so we made a proposal to the county. The proposal was accepted. We spent about 6 months renovating the space, and in early 2018, we opened the museum. Initially, we were called the Carolina Music Museum. We had named ourselves that so that the county would understand what we were trying to do, and that it was, had local interest and so on. And so, local interest was quite high. Through our first year and a half, things were going pretty much as we had expected. And then something unexpected took place, which was a very, very large collection of musical instruments, world-class collection that was in Boston. It was the collection of Marlowe Sigel. Marlowe and I knew each other when we were both collectors, and we respected each other. We would meet at conventions and such. And so Marlowe passed away without a good plan for his collection. And as I began to talk with the family, it became clear that we might be the solution for the Sigel family. And the key there was, would they financially support bringing the collection here, and what it would take to kind of, make it work for Greenville. They said yes. We agreed to rebrand our name, and so we became the Sigel Music Museum, which is how we will be known going forward. And now we've gone from a very, very good private collection to a world-class collection of keyboards, woodwinds, guitars, and other musical instruments.
Wow.
Yeah, quite interesting. I think I might actually just do this right now. I'm going to pull up the website here just to kind of give people a taste. Very, very beautiful website you have too, and shows the beauty of the instruments that you have on location there. Is there anything specific that you would highlight about the website itself, or things that people might find interesting to check out while we're on this session? Or
So one of the most valuable parts is that there's a newsletter section of the website, and every month we put out a newsletter that's updated, that tells you kind of what we're doing. At the moment, I have the gems of the Marlowe Sigel collection on display. So it's called Sensational Sigel, and there are some wonderful things. If you've ever wondered about the historical background for keyboard instruments, we pretty much have everything you need to see right there in the museum. So it makes a great visit. And now that we're kind of coming out of the COVID times and people are going to be able to mix, I'm looking forward to hosting people coming in. We will have this exhibit up through at least the end of this year and into 2022 to give people a chance to really see what's going on.
Wow. So this unbelievable gift, whatever, grace from life itself, happened when? 2018?
So in
You-
2019, I had begun talking with the family in January.
Wow.
By May, we closed the deal. And so just in numbers, the numbers are astounding. Over 85 pianos and harpsichords from that collection, over 600 woodwind instruments,
Jeez.
several dozen.
From how many centuries are the woodwind?
So the earliest instrument on display right now is from 1575.
Oh my God.
Imagine Shakespeare is 11 years old when this is made. And then one of the neatest parts of this collection, and quite frankly of mine as well, is that many of the instruments still play, and they still play very well. So
and so do you when herd immunity occurs, are you going to have live performances with these instruments, some of them?
There will be, certainly starting in September, we'll resume the concert series that we had going on before. But this summer, I expect to be able to do some limited seating for people. And then if you follow us, we're currently recording all 32 of the Beethoven sonatas on modern piano, and many times on the early piano that's period appropriate for that period of Beethoven's life. Zachary Hughes is doing that, doing a wonderful job. So you can dial in as free. You can watch every week.
What's the artist? Who's the artist?
Zachary Hughes. Yes, go ahead.
He's doing it on both on a modern piano and
right.
An appropriate period piano.
That's correct. So
wow, what modern piano is he using?
We're using a Steinway D that Sally graciously worked on it for us.
I forgot you got the badass of all time down there.
It's now a great piano. When it came in, it needed a lot, as some of you know. Sometimes they're a little bit abused. This one had some inappropriate things done, but Sally put it back to rights.
This is why pianos are so insanely technician artisan dependent, which then, you know already probably.
Yes, and then for the early pianos, I'm kind of the resident expert at this time.
Wow.
I am looking to bring up younger people into this field. I will just tell you right away, it can be lucrative and it's very rewarding.
Wow.
So you know what? I'll bring the site back up real quick here, because I've noticed we can listen to some of the instruments. So let me do that real quick.
And
okay, so let's check this out. If I click on this piano, so this is a recording of this actual piano, right?
Right. This is a harpsichord that you're about to click on.
Yeah, this is awesome, actually. I mean, that's beautiful. Like you said, it's not just like, oh, hey, look at this piece of history.
Did you tune it?
I do tune them, yes.
Oh my God, it sounded good. We're all like these big rabbit-eared, bat-eared nerds out here.
Well,
that sounded good, man.
Let me tell you, before we move to something else, let me tell you just a bit about that harpsichord. And it's on display, and you'll want to come see it. That harpsichord was the wedding present from King George III to his new bride Charlotte when she came from Mecklenburg, Germany.
Wow.
And then, even more significant, perhaps, in 1764, when the 8-year-old Mozart and his sister Nannerl were brought to court, that was the harpsichord that they played for the king and the queen and the courtiers. So a very well-known harpsichord. It was when the queen died in 1818. She had a number of unmarried daughters that needed money, and so all of her possessions were sold off, including this harpsichord. It went to a 14th century house in England, more of a castle than a house, really. And then in the 1980s, when times were tough in the UK, they quietly sold it to Marlowe Sigel, who bought it and brought it to Boston.
Wow.
Shortly thereafter, the house burned, and all the newspapers in England carried the story that Queen Charlotte's harpsichord has been lost. It was burned in the fire. And Marlowe had to write back and say, well, not so much. I've got it in Boston. So now it's in Greenville.
Listen, the
Fascinating.
harpsichord shocked me, the sound of it. It's so powerful. It's got such a
Yes.
unique resonance to it. No wonder all these humans in history just loved it, Wow.
Yes.
That's amazing. Other harpsichords don't sound like that, do they? Who did you do the restoration on that?
I did all the work on that.
Wow.
Yes. Now I will tell you that it was still in pretty good shape. So it didn't need a huge amount, but I restrung it in Stephen Burkett wire. Stephen is a professor and researcher in Canada who has come up with the correct wires for the time.
Yeah,
And then
he's published articles in our Piano Technicians Journal. He's well known.
He's a good man, and his wire now really brings out the singing qualities of these instruments. And so it's curious. Later today, I'll be back at the museum recording with Gabe Smallwood. We're actually going to use one of the other huge harpsichords at the museum, a harpsichord by Tascan, 1769. So a French double harpsichord, because that's the sort of music that we're going to be working on later today. Lots of fun.
Wow. And did you grow up somewhere close to here, to Greenville?
I grew up in Columbia, but I got here as quick as I could.
And where is Greenville in South Carolina?
Let me cut in real quick here, David, just to let people know. If you're on Facebook and YouTube, we're going to sign off that live stream, but there should be a link in the chat. You can come join us on the Zoom call if you just click the link and sign up. And all right, I'll just pass it back to you, David. Feel free to continue.
Okay. Yeah, Greenville, where is it and what does it look like and what's this kind of the setting?
So Greenville is in the upper west part of